Gator Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Gators Summit. Shelton's on the phone, making some important phone calls right there. No telling who he's talking to. I am David Waters with Gators Breakdown, joined by Ali Peek from a peek inside Gators football and Shelton Walker from Hightop Sports. It is a busy time in Gator Nation. I don't think Shelton has changed since yesterday.
No.
Yeah.
I never change.
I might not be able to.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Everyone at the Olympics. He's gonna smell.
This was John. We were just talking about this weekend and what we got lined up for the recruits. So we just been blue chip stocks.
Man, plenty to get into, guys. It is a busy time in Gator Nation right now. Davin Davidson committing to the Gators literally an hour ago, and then Maxwell Hiller about 24 hours ago. We have a spring game to look forward to in about 48 hours, and guys, go ahead and get ready in the comments. We're going to do some Q&A. So I know there's just a lot going on in Gator Nation right now. We want to hear from you this episode of the Gators Summit. So we are presented by Prize Picks, of course. Use code HMA, play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups. We'll hear more about them later on. But guys, do we have enough time for it all in this episode?
We might be going all night, guys. There's a lot to get into.
Hell of a week, hell of a 2 days we've had. And again, there's plenty to come in the next couple of days, which we are going to be excited to talk about. And we have a special show on Sunday. We still have that rock and roll later on to recap the spring game. So an exclusive. So it's going to be a ton of content, a ton of great conversations, and a busy weekend, not for us, but for John, not on the football field, but off the football field in regards to the recruiting madness that's happening currently as well, too.
Yeah, for sure. And for some reason, the super chats went away on my end. So I don't know what happened. We'll see. They may have been left over from last week, but I don't know. They were there a second ago. So either way, guys, leave your comments. As I said, we'll come back around toward the end of the episode.
I can see them.
You can see them. Okay.
Yes, sir. I can't pull them over, but I can read them if you like.
Do they look like new and not from last week? Because that happened last week where they were brought over from the week before.
Oh, this is from last week. You're right.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I've never seen StreamYard do that. So
okay, yeah, that is very weird.
Maybe that's how they went away, so I can't show old ones. So either way, guys.
There's a new one.
Yeah, there's a new one. There we go. Yep, see, the new ones do show up.
There you go.
Smooth, Dave. Can you guys throw a couple of dollar or super chats in there to see what's working?
People out there, I don't work.
It's gotta be 100 or more. That's the only way it's gonna go ahead and clear out the last week's.
It worked. Philip Colbert, great to be a Gator. Thank you so much, man. Gator Jeremy checking in once again. Super chat good for you, Dave. Sheldon, don't call me out that way. It's just
you're hey, blue chips talk, baby. Got to get some more suits. I love it. Keep it.
All right, guys, let's just go to about an hour ago. Davin Davidson committing to the Gators. Not much of a surprise. There was a little bit of suspense, I guess, just because he wasn't letting the cat out of the bag too much. But I think we all felt with the visits and just all the talk, all the interviews leading up to this, that it wasn't a huge surprise that he commits to the Gators. Gators get their quarterback right here, John Summerall. Guys, we hadn't even played the spring game yet. Certainly no real snap of football, but big-time quarterback, big-time offensive lineman as well. But great start to the offensive side of this 2027 class.
Yeah, I think huge shout out to Phil Troutwine. I was so excited that he was the first one to land somebody from the 2027 class. And it's wild. It doesn't take years to build momentum to get offensive line recruits. I'm still kind of shook about that. It's the first 5-star on the line since 2015. That's crazy. Dave, I saw you tweet that you weren't even doing your show at that point. Your show's the oldest of all three of our show. This is worth celebrating. This is where championships start, right? Is building your lines. And I'm not in any way saying Florida's winning a national championship because they landed one 5-star, but we haven't done this in a very long time. In Gainesville. And so it's a really good start.
Agreed. I think and Davidson adding your quarterback to the mix. I love Davidson a lot for a multitude of reasons. One, his size is fantastic. 6'7", essentially. And has climbed the rankings over the last couple of months. We talked about it, just a moment ago when he did commit. And obviously we have Big echo. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Think good now. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I really exploded my ear there. So obviously he was kind of low on the rankings. That looked at too much, and then went to the Elite 11 and just skyrocketed. I think the top 15 between On 3 and 247 or where he ranks. And I like it a lot because he's not going to have the expectation to come in and start right away. And I love that the approach the staff is doing too. It's like you still need a quarterback. Will Griffin kind of fits that mold too, personally, where it's like, look, he was kind of that same echelon, 12, 13. And it's like, look, if you're not a 1, 2, or 3 top tier quarterback, what was happening was these 5-star quarterbacks were asking for $2 and $3 million. So, they're putting this money in. Like, well, is the kid going to play? Well, yeah, I guess we're giving him $3 million. I mean, that's starting money, right? So we kind of got down that rabbit hole for a little bit. I like that we've repositioned ourselves. Look, we've seen blueprints, right? We talk about that. Like, what a recruiting blueprint style. I feel like the style or this blueprint kind of, and people aren't going to like this, but it fits what Miami's been able to do, right? They go spend the money in the trenches and then go, their quarterback attack is a bit different, right? And I think that you play a little bit of fire when you try to go get one out of the portal every single year. They seem to be having success with it. They had to break some rules on this past one, but that's besides the point. And so I would rather what we are doing is like, you go get a quality guy, you stack the room, you're able to build it. Well, Sean, it's hard to build rooms. Well, there's teams that are doing it. Georgia is one of them. You can maintain it if the expectations are set properly. And I believe those expectations were set properly with Davidson. We had Keith Niebuhr on from On 3, and he goes, look, he is aware that he's not going to come in and be the guy from day one. And so when I heard that, I was like, send the farm. Because obviously we know we were in the mix for Elijah Haven very early on in this. That was more for that pass cycle. 5-star kid, 5-star quarterbacks get everybody excited. We get excited with 5 stars. I started, my tummy was hurting after, what we had with our past 5-star quarterback. I was like, let's make this real 5 stars. And what I mean by that is, like you said, offensive linemen, we've seen these guys go in and be impactful right away. My next big wish list would be an edge player. Would love to go get a 5-star edge guy, right? Like a Colin Simmons-esque type that can come in and be impactful right away. Or even an interior guy, right? Hell, I mean, if John wants to blow this lid off and make this cowboy hat a little bit taller, go get Jalen Brewster from Texas Tech. And this thing, I'm telling you.
He's going to be here this weekend, so.
He's coming back?
That's the word on the street.
Damn, Ali, you be slipping on this show, Ali. You be getting the juices be flowing. You be just saying all kinds of shit that you weren't supposed to be saying. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. I am serious.
Holy. This dude's not coming off. This not coming off. Brewster needs to see what we got going on here. That, hey, if I'm going to come in, I'm going to just have a blank big check, one of those fat ones that you get when you win a car, and I'm just going to bring it to him. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Holy, I can't believe he's coming back.
I mean, look, maybe on that note too, I think just maybe the snowball effect of this. I mean, Florida's on the recruiting headlines.
Yeah.
From yesterday to today, 5-star offensive lineman. You've identified your quarterback. You got your quarterback. So what does this mean? And you look, I mean, there's Amari Patterson at receiver. There's a group of like 4-star receivers. Florida's in for right now as well. You got to think those guys. Yeah, those guys are seeing what's going on right now. And I think part of this too. Obviously, all the flowers in the world to Phil Trotwine and getting this 5-star offensive lineman, something we hadn't seen in forever. But there was a lot of questions about this John Summerall staff and who would he know? Who would he bring with him? Can he build a staff from the likes of Troy and Tulane? Obviously, didn't spend a ton of time in the SEC at Kentucky, but looks like was able to lay some ground roots or grassroots to at least have enough respect to get some assistant coaches like Buster Faulkner and Phil Trotwine to come with him. But Joe Craddock's name is
Craddock is mentioned. Yeah.
I mean, it is just, okay, well, 98% of Gator Nation probably didn't know who Joe Craddock was 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And now your quarterback is saying, hey, I mean, Buster got to mention too, but it was like Craddock's name here and there. And that's a guy who brought with him from Tulane. And look, I don't hire friends. That's a quote that we all love when building this coaching staff. But the ones that he did have a relationship with from the lower ranks brought with him, and obviously right now are paying dividends right away, early on, without a game even being played. So I think another just feather in the cap to a big question of how you're going to build this staff and who you can bring with you. Where even some of the guys we weren't really counting on to maybe have that big of a difference on the recruiting trail, at least this early, are showing up.
Well, and, I think the previous staff did a pretty darn good job with high school recruiting. I wouldn't necessarily say elite, but very good. But when is the last time that there's been 2 days in a row that the ESPN ticker has had a Florida commit on there? I mean, I feel like we've gotten guys that are good, but maybe not guys that are worthy of scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's happened 2 days in a row for this staff. And I do, you mentioned
maybe back in summer of 23, that crazy
July, June, baby.
July, yes, where we had like 9 in a weekend.
Was a hell of a run, and then we lost them all. We lost them all.
We did that.
We lost them all.
We did, yeah. But you're exactly right with the snowball effect. You have a stud offensive lineman. You get one, guess what? They want to play together. You got your quarterback. Wide receivers know who you're bringing in. They want to play with them. Defense is like, shoot, our offense is going to be cooking. I want to go play on the other side of the ball. Like, it does snowball. And it seems like we've got guys that are interested in recruiting because they've both said, both Hiller and Davison have said, like, now I got to get to work adding to this class. And those are the kind of guys you want to start with. It reminds me when we got VB3 early and he said, like, okay, now I'm going to go be the best recruiter that I can be for this program. And it sounds like that's what we have. And these kids all talk to each other. They see each other at camps. They see each other on visits. Social media has connected us like never before, even if they live in other states and whatever. Talent wants to play with talent. So I don't know that we're done this weekend. And I think that's a pretty crazy thought this early into the process.
Momentum is a big thing that I've talked about, is that John seems to do a great job of capitalizing on it, creating it as well. A big thing too, right? Recruiting is crazy, and you never can always guarantee until the paper is signed. But you said it with the VB3. There's a couple of guys that would commit to every class. You're like, that guy's not going anywhere. And Maxwell Hiller being a top tier guy like he is, you obviously are always a bit concerned, and anything can happen. But we've watched this whole recruitment kind of unfold and just how he's approached it. And like you said, both of these young men and Davidson and Maxwell, the way that they've approached the commitment and how they've handled it afterwards don't seem like kind of like a fly by the seat of your pants. And this isn't to take any jab at anybody, but I remember when Peyton Joseph, the offensive lineman, commitment, it didn't feel like it felt like cool, but like this thing is not as far from over. This doesn't feel that way, right? Yeah. It feels like there has been a genuine, and I think the way that the staff wanted to approach it, because Davidson said that he committed to Florida like 3 weeks ago to the staff, and they probably were like, love that, let's work it. And we got crystal balls, but it wasn't locked in. It kind of had a little bit of floating around a little bit, which I like that the secrecy was able to be pretty tight knit as well. But back to the staff as well that I love. He did mention, I love that he said, hey, I'm not going to hire friends, but kind of doubled down of like, look, I know I brought Rusty and Joe Craddock over. These guys are dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm also going to, if they're good, I'm going to continue to bring them with me. I'm not an idiot. And so that to me is very refreshing. And I know myself, I was not about this, but there are some people like, oh, he's bringing all of his friends over. Well, it's like, hold on. If the guy can go and hire Troutwine, Brad White, and Buster Faulkner, we're going to question the other hires now. That doesn't make any sense. So I love seeing that it's starting to see all the investments that he's made and told us about are starting to come true. And with each season or each, I talk about it all the time. You grade him for what he's done thus far. I mean, we're early into the recruiting cycle of this because, again, official big OVs aren't going to happen until May and June. Yeah. But 50 recruits, including the Jalen Brewster this weekend. Oh.
I was told, Ali, wait till you see some of the kids we have flying in. So I think that there will be some names that like we might actually be even caught off guard on in that list of 50. I think we are going to be surprised. I think there's a good chance of fireworks this weekend. I think the staff is Shelton, you okay over there?
I'm freaking out. I mean, I feel like you just told me that some guys didn't want to play special teams again. I was going to ask. So I've said this before. I feel like we're seeing, remember early on in this time here, we saw John everywhere, mainly next to our guy, Hugh Hathcock. All right. And I don't think they were just watching basketball together.
Mainly on the 3 of our shows, but sure. Go on.
Yeah. What's that?
I said mainly on the 3 of our shows, but yes.
Yeah, he was on our show. He didn't ask us for any money though. But again, all those things pay dividends, right? Yeah. Of getting your face out there and showing you that I'm not afraid to be in. What Ali, you said this when you come coach at the University, you're flying close to the sun. He's like, NASA, shoot me up there. I'm ready to ride, baby. And I think he has won over.
He embraced the craziness that we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I think you guys can confirm this. A lot of boosters that were in support of the Lane Kiffin train coming in backed up when this happened. We're like, whoa, this isn't what we wanted at all. And kind of retreating on the support of like, well, now we're back into wait and see moment. That you don't fly in what you're flying in and sign what you're signing and wait and see. So, and again, I think a lot of it has to do with one, how he handled himself prior to practice. And then Davidson, his comment when he committed, he goes, it was the hardest practice I've seen. Yeah. I mean, that put it on a shirt.
And he mentioned the culture. And this is a culture where a game hasn't been played yet. So if you're committing to a vision that these coaches are selling. And look, ever so important. Guys, another topic I want to go on because I've heard this a lot, and maybe the pessimistic view, not of these recruits, but of just in general, well, it's high school recruiting. It doesn't mean as much anymore. I'm sorry, if you can recruit at this level, it's going to mean a lot. Obviously, these guys can leave, but high school recruiting is still going to have a spot. And if you're a program like Florida that can recruit and should recruit at a high level, it absolutely should hold a spot. Yeah, you can go another route. You can go a transfer portal if you want to. But if you can get guys like this and you have the opportunity to build your trenches with 5 stars and go get a top 15-ish quarterback that you don't have to rush in and he can develop, then you go do so. And look, what Tremont Collins is top 100-ish player as well as an athlete. So this offense is off to a great start in building it. And I still think high school recruiting
is key. It is. Building your team through the transfer portal is so hit or miss. It's feast or famine. You can look at Florida State in back-to-back years. You have a team that, was trying to make a title run. And then you have a team that won 4 games. They won maybe less than that. And it's completely based on hit or miss in the portal. You've got to be able to use the portal to supplement. If you can coach and develop, high school is still king. And especially in the state of Florida, when you have the talent in your backyard, embarrassment of riches in this state, use it to, just pick out a couple key pieces that are going to take you over the top. Don't build your roster that way. And I think he is showing that he's putting a high emphasis on high school recruiting, and kids are buying in. Like I think about Hiller said, I would have followed Troutwine anywhere. If he was still at Penn State, I'd be going to Penn State. Like these kids are buying the things that these coaches are selling, and they haven't even had to put a product on the field yet. So if we really do look improved, imagine the floodgates that open then.
Yeah, and look at the current roster. All the guys we want to retain.
We can recruit all of them.
No, and the guys we want to retain are from the high school wing. We wanted to keep Jaden Ball. He was the original high school recruit. Miles Grant, DB3, Dallas Wilson, Jaden Woods. These weren't. Oh, we got to keep these transferred. These were guys we recruited from the high school level that we still want to be on this roster. That was the nucleus of this team, those 5 guys, and it still started with high school recruiting.
Well, the Indiana, obviously, madness last year plays a little bit to that, but let's think about the other team they played against, Miami. That team, if you look at the core of that, the star talent was recruits. Not Carson Beck, Malachi Tony, recruit. That line, recruited. The other side of the line, recruited. The reason why they'll be favorites heading into next season, go look at the defensive line. Look where they came from. Now, look, I think the other part of it too, you mentioned it, you're in the state of Florida, but you are in the fertile grounds of recruiting. It's much different than Indiana. And honestly, as I'm thinking about it, Dan Lanning, I think they do
a mess when they try to do it.
Yeah.
You can't recruit.
Take advantage of where you're at. Yeah, like know who you are, know what you. Ohio State obviously continues to ball. They are heavily recruited. Oregon is maybe one that can maybe take on the Indiana blueprint a little bit because of where they're at. It's tough to recruit the type of guys they would like to get out there and keep them long enough. I see it seems to be their issue. Maybe they take more of an Indiana approach, but that's another story for the other day. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. And again, that's why 5-star quarterbacks don't excite me, because I don't believe you build that way. I do feel that the long-term quarterback is definitely have shown over the last couple of years to be the route. And maybe that's where you can go portal, or if you can have a guy that's willing to sit, then that's the way they go. But that you change your approach to recruiting in that way. But yeah, we've completely flipped the mold on how this recruiting is heading, and I'm loving every minute of it.
For sure. You got to be excited about it.
Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, yeah. I mean, I think there's so much to be excited about. I think, I've mentioned it on this show before, but I just think that the late 2000s Alabama model, I mean, now add NIL and instead of $10,000 handshakes, but like huge lines, great running backs, great skill position, and game managers at quarterback. And I'm not saying that Davin Davison is going to just be a game manager, but you don't need that 5-star quarterback. You need someone who's going to get into your system, develop. I think Will Griffin, I picture him exactly the same way. This is a guy coming in knowing he's going to sit this year and he's going to develop, but he's getting the reps out at practice right now. The way that practice is being run, it's being run on 2 fields so that your 1s and 2s are on one field, your 3s and 4s are on the other, so that everybody is getting constant reps. And that is not something that's happening at every practice across the country. So when these recruits are going and watching our spring practice, they're seeing something different. And that makes me unsurprised that we're getting these commitments, because I think it is really impressive to these kids coming in.
No doubt. And look, we've kind of talked about Maxwell a little bit. We'll transition to that a little bit more. We had Keith Neighbor on the other day from On 3, and he goes, look, I keep an eye out for another 5-star offensive lineman. I mean, if Troutwine and the boys, and Von Brantley, I think, is another one to keep an eye on. He's
him tweeting with Hillary. Yes.
He's not a 5-star currently, but he's a very highly rated 4-star guy. I'm trying to figure out where he is currently. Top 100.
Hiller said, well, come join me.
Yeah. Von Brandt. I mean, that is the offensive line name.
Yeah,
I've heard of.
Amen to that one. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously would be a big time pickup if Florida's able to get a hold of that one as well. And again, Al, you mentioned it. I saw you also say that too, Dave, that since you started this show, we haven't landed such a prestigious recruit on the offensive line, which is wild to think of. Wow. Hey, thanks for holding it down for us, Dave. Okay.
That meme of it's been 84 years.
Yes, I put that out there too.
Yes, that's what it feels like.
I mean, it's ridiculous. All the recruits I've been able to talk about for almost 10 years now, it's never been an offensive lineman at that level.
The perfect meme, the photo of you at the game with the hair. That's the last time we had a. I should have posted that thing with a hit.
Gators Summit, everybody. Check out.
I love that picture. That's my favorite picture. But yeah, Maxwell obviously is such a great pickup. We've talked plenty about that and what it's done for this class thus far, and we would love to continue to add some more pieces surrounding him. Look, I'm not really too concerned with 5-star wide receivers. Those excite me a little, like a Dallas Wilson. We've seen those guys be able to make huge impacts, right? So Easton Royal is one to keep an eye on. Currently committed to Texas. I know Florida's been really working him. But man, I again, going back to what we've just been alluding to this whole time, there is just this approach to the entire situation is nobody is backing down from it at all. And I'm loving it.
Going back to the Troutwine angle, and it's like, I got asked today on radio here in Jacksonville, it's like, why do you think he has this success? And I was like, I think we go back to his time at Florida, under Urban Meyer, under Steve Adazio, and winning. He knows what it takes. And offensive line play hasn't changed. The toughness, the physicality of it all hasn't changed. And I think he can share. He had success right away as a coach at Boston College, able to grow that into a job at Penn State, get guys and go recruit them, develop them, put them in the NFL, and bring it over now to Florida. And Hiller said, I didn't even really consider Florida until Troutwine was there. Yeah, I had an offer. Yeah, okay, great. But this guy, we got to remember, he's going from Pennsylvania, kind of following the same track Phil did.
Yeah, Phil did.
From the Northeast and coming down to Florida. No worry, no snow. You can come down here. We got palm trees and all that. But he didn't even care about any of that until Phil Troutwine was in the building on campus. So I said it yesterday on the podcast. Phil Troutwine, he didn't just open the door. He was the door. I mean,
he was the door. Is there anything more genuine than a guy who can sit there and tell you, I know what it was like to be on a team that didn't win here. Yep. I know what it was like to watch regime change and learn how to win. I know what it's like to win 2 national championships. I know what it's like to first have a coach that didn't necessarily believe in me, because he talks about how if the portal existed, Meyer would have kicked him out into it when he first got there. I mean, and he told me that if he didn't get this job, he'd be coaching in the NFL, that this was the only place in college that he wanted to be. And he told me he may not want to be anything ever other than an offensive line coach his whole life, that he's not sure that he ever wants to be a coordinator or a higher position, that coaching offensive line at the University of Florida for the rest of his life would be a dream come true. And I think when you're that genuine, how do kids not feed off of that?
That was one point I made. We go back to the point I just made earlier. In this crazy world of college football and transfer portal, this is one big time recruit where the relationship still mattered probably more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it goes back to, again, I think this thing is a lock to say the least. Look at Ohio State. If you look at their coaching staff, their defensive line, that coach has been there for like 15 years. I mean, he hasn't left. So they've been pretty dang good at that position. So just go ahead and sign Troutwine to a lifelong deal. I don't care. Lock it in. We'll call it. I almost said something. That would have been 2 nights I got in trouble because I was going to say before John, I was going to use the initials, and that would have not done well, right? Before John or after John. Either way, we're going to just keep Troutwine. You see where I'm going there? I was trying to like be creative, and I go, whoa. So I got myself in trouble last night with that, so no need to get there. But great stuff. But before we move on to the spring game outlook, which is just about 48 hours away, which will be a blast, we're going to dive on over to our sponsors for today's show, which is, of course, Prize Picks. Been powering us all season long and will continue to power us all season long. Of course, use the code HMA, pay $5, get $50 instantly in lineups. Well, boys and girls, we know what week it is. Not only is it spring game week, but it is Masters week. I've been putting my own lineups together. They ain't been doing so good. So we're going to bring the crew in here today. Dave's going to have a pick. Ali's going to have a pick. And hopefully I can, keep this thing afloat here with my final pick here. But Dave, we'll go to you first, my friend. Who we liking here on the more or less for tomorrow's kickoff?
What we got there?
These names do not excite me. I got to be honest with you.
I mean, I saw earlier Scotty was on there, but I don't see him on there right now.
Bryson was on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
There must be a late tea time.
There's Scotty.
Yep. So
there's the names we know and love.
Yeah. So Roy with a hot day today. Scotty started hot, faded in the back nine a little bit.
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah. Yep. 72 there for Jordan. Man, this course is gonna keep drying out, and it's gonna get a little bit harder. So. What was Scotty? 70.5?
70.5
less, yeah.
So that means he's got to shoot a couple strokes under par.
Yeah, three.
It's Masters. He showed me something today. So you have to shoot a 69 tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
To go less.
That's a doozy one, Davey.
Man, that is. That's a tough one. So all right, it's 50-50.
There's plenty of other options, Dave. We don't have to stick on Scotty. I mean, there's
we'll go Scotty. Let's go big game hunting. Let's go less. Let's go less for Scotty. He's on fire.
All right. Show me Bryson. What is he sitting at?
Hey, I nailed him today, by the way. I said no way he was. I forgot what the number was, but I nailed
71, I think, for Bryson.
Yeah, 71.5. You just passed him.
Oh, did I?
I thought you did. Maybe, let's see. I thought you did. Maybe you didn't. Yeah, there he is.
Did.
Yep. 71.5. Whoo. Give me less.
Oh, my God.
He's got to bounce back, right?
Yeah, he's got to. Look, I think outside of that bunker situation, I think it was. Hopefully, he can find himself though. He was sailing everything. My boy Freddie was hot and then just collapsed on the last 3 holes. What's that?
I said it's because he's old.
Hey! Take it. My man still got it. He still got the swing. I thought for sure he was gonna be rocking around. Robin McIntyre had himself a day. I'm gonna take, I feel like, a freebie here and go more.
Okay.
I think he's getting beat up. You can just tell he put one off the green. It's like you said, Dave. It's only gonna get harder. And these guys kind of do their first run through. I think this is his first. Maybe it's his second time through. We'll lock him in here. So I'll throw a little for the crew.
Okay.
This is my account here. We happen to be logged into. How convenient.
To win $50. All right, so we get 20 apiece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sure. All right, we're rocking some lineups there tomorrow. So, boys and girls, follow along. You follow me at Shelton Hightop. Ali, what's your user that we can follow?
It's at Ali Peek.
Dave
and Gator Dave _GB like it is on X. So easy to follow.
Easy squeezy. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Prize Picks, HMA. Use the code. You can play California, Texas, and of course, Florida. Prize Picks. Yeah. Run your game.
On that note, spring game is Saturday. Does a spring game always have to be on Masters weekend?
I mean, I would love if we maybe not. Like, that's the next request to Summerall. Can we run the 40 in the indoor? Yes. Can we make the spring game not on Masters weekend next year? Like, I feel like that's something he would get behind.
I think so too. We'll throw him some bourbon or something to
heat check. You know what I mean? They ain't said no. Yes. Can we get a 5-star offensive lineman? Yes. Can we get a chip? Can we get a championship? Just start asking. Asking you shall receive. Feels like a genie. Just rub it.
Just go. Oh
we'll put the wheels in motion. We'll put the wheels in motion this weekend.
Okay. Well, spring game outlook. I think this is going to be an interesting weekend. The format is a little bit different than we've seen in previous years. We've got offense versus defense. I think there's a couple reasons for that. I think one of which is I don't know that we have enough linemen to field two teams and have like a two deep there. I think that is probably part of it. I also think they kind of want to see the ones run together, who they think might be the ones and the twos, and kind of compare and contrast that way a little bit. But I am excited. I feel like the energy is going to be electric. I feel like fans are going to be pumped. I feel like we're going to see some, I don't know what, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see from Summerall, but I feel like there's going to be like some kind of chest bumping or fists through a whiteboard, or like some kind of emotion that we won't have seen on those sidelines for a very long time.
American tackle football.
Yeah, I think we're going to knock each other out a little bit there. What are you guys the most excited about for Saturday? Dave, you go first.
I know it sounds simple, but on the energy level of it all, tempo on offense. Mm-hmm. I just want to see it. I mean, we didn't get to see it too often under the last staff. We've heard defensive players talk about it, saying, yeah, it is certainly something different. Now, this is some defensive players who played against Tennessee. They played against USF last year. So not a foreign concept, but it is a foreign concept in practice as much as they're seeing it. And now we get to see it in person on Saturday. So for me, it is the tempo of the offense. How do the quarterbacks handle it? How does the defense handle it? I don't want to see it'll probably happen a couple times, but I don't want to see defenders looking over to the sideline and the ball snap. They're not ready to go, or there's communication still happening and they're not ready to go. So I think the tempo is going to be good for both sides. We get to see an offense getting a groove with it. Quarterbacks, vying for a job, really have to kind of maybe separate themselves by using the tempo, and also the defense, how they adjust to that tempo, and Buster Faulkner and everything he's going to be throwing at them at the same time.
Shelton, what about you?
Yeah, for me, the energy is huge, because I think for the last couple of years, I mean, it's been practice. So I've always thought like the lackadaisicalness is just because it's practice. I don't think, from what I've heard, that it's going to be that way at all. I think it's going to be absolute chaos in the right kind of way. So I'm excited to see the change in that regard. And I think there's going to be a chess battle between the coordinators, because again, they're generally trying to figure out what they've got on both sides. So even though scoring is going to be unique, I really don't care about the scoring aspect of it. I think it's cool that there's an opportunity. So it's going to, again, the scoring, if you want to win, if you're a defense, I'm sure there's some kind of reward outside of just beating them. But I think that's what's going to cost.
I want to know what the reward is. Like, there was one year, Urban Spring Game, the loser had to plant a bunch of bushes all over campus.
Got to be something good. Yeah.
A beautification project. Like, there was always something, and it hurt. And like, there would be a lunch afterwards, and the winning team would have filet. The losing team, literally, they purposely burned hot dogs. Like, there was always something. And I know that Urban has spent a ton of time really stressing to them the things that he felt like went right. One of those being everything being a competition. So we're going to have to ask when we see Summerall what is on the line, because there's got to be something.
Agreed. And hopefully we'll have that opportunity. We can do it on air. So, because we'll be live all weekend as well too. But yeah, I think that's what's going to cause for the excitement as well too. Because again, the defense, how they score points is by turnovers, stops. Well, how do you get those? You play aggressive and you pop somebody's helmet off. So we had it last week. We talked about it with Steve Harris, where there was a picture of a helmet flying. He goes, dude, it was It was insane. And just to hear about this tempo that we keep hearing about on offense. And look, although we've heard, maybe not the most positive things about the offensive line, how they're scheming around it. I genuinely feel it's going to feel like a real game. Where before, because of the splitting of the teams, which I didn't hate, but
No.
it was so fun. I think that you're really going to just have, one-on-one iron sharpens iron type of situation, because it's not going to be divvied up. Now, I'm sure it'll work its way through, but there will be a time where it is just mano-a-mano, and you'll be able to kind of probably get a good picture, I would say, of who your ones are. We'll be able to see. I think we'll be able to see it, and we'll talk about it, of course. But yeah, I think that's what I'm excited about as well. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you now. I ain't gonna have a bad thing to say. So if you're gonna come in and look thing, I'm gonna have anything to complain about, you can go ahead and kiss that goodbye, because I'm gonna be fired.
I mean, it's hard to really, like, the most I ever complained about a spring game was not really because of the football aspect of it. It was when Mullen had, celebrities catching random touchdowns off the sideline and stuff like that.
How about Thursday night, because we didn't want to compete with real programs for recruits.
Yeah, we scored like 7 points. Do you remember that?
And then they tried to sell all of us on the fact that Thursday night was so smart, because then all of these people could make their way in. But what we were actually doing was admitting that we would never win a head-to-head visit against Alabama or Georgia or whatever. Like, I'll complain
and
about
now
that.
3 months in, we have 50 plus recruits on top of the number one defensive lineman in the country visiting.
I will,
on the heels of getting a 5-star offensive lineman.
The right number of men on the field. That's the one situation I will complain about. Do we get the right number of men on the field? If the answer to this question is yes, I am drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Position group guys, we're maybe looking most forward to seeing. I'm going defensive line. I think they've just been kind of hyped up the last couple of weeks. We've heard from Gerald Chapman and a lot of the defensive line players. Chapman was on with Shelton, the week before last. And John Summerall even saying this week, before spring practice started, not so much confidence in this group. If there's one group I'm now more confident in than I was a month ago, it is this defensive line. And it was a group that we circled before, both lines, both sides in the trenches. What answers does Florida have? Well, they seem to be a little more confident in this defensive line there with Oyebadajo and Brandon Bett and DK Kalu transferring the young guys, McLeod and Mbachu. I really think now they're probably deeper than what they thought they'd be. And now with this format, you get to see that group cycle in and cycle out the way you would want to in a real game situation. So I'm really excited about kind of just based off of what we've heard the last couple of weeks, this defensive line group.
Do you think that we'll see any schemes? Like, do you think that by watching the spring game, we're going to be able to see a new offensive scheme, or we're going to be able to see the changes schematically to the defense? Or do you think that that's something that they're going to kind of keep hidden a little bit?
I don't think they give a
Wildcat. Jaden Ball Wildcat all game.
Yeah, I don't think they give a damn. I don't think, because Buster's like, I don't care. I'm coming at you regardless of what you. Yeah, cool. Bet. Hey, here's what we're running. Good luck. Yeah. I'm actually really excited to see the wide receivers, because there's been a ton of anticipation and hype. And I feel like we had it last year. And so we kind of just didn't really look at it. We saw Dallas Wilson show some flashes. And you have to kind of take that into consideration. He's going up against a freshman quarterback. They're really able to expose that, or a cornerback, excuse me. But what we lacked, in my opinion, for the last couple of years is wide receiver blocking on bubbles, screens, just in general. Route running wasn't the greatest. I don't think anybody's going to be able to take a play off. So I'm going to be looking for that of, like, how is the separation happening? What's Bailey Stockton doing? We saw a screen pass the other day on one of the clips, and we were talking about it on the show. It's like, it was wild just to see the blocking from the tight end and the wide receiver. Yeah. And we noticed it because we never had it. And that was, people would get pissed about the bubble screens. Like, the issue wasn't the call. No. I know we hated hear Napier say it. It was the execution. Well, then I would go back to, like, well, that's still on you, dog. Like, that's how you practice.
Literally, that is on you, dog.
Yeah, they hardly ever work. So how about just get rid of them? Like, I agree. It is the execution, but when the execution is a consistent problem,
and that's.
But also, how do you run something? And I guess we don't really need to continue to digress. But how do you run something that literally never works in a game? Are you telling me it works in practice? Because I am not believing that. You cannot tell me that it's working every time in practice.
Look, you ask great questions, Ali, and we wonder what was happening, because if it was working, then that's an issue. And if it's not working, why are we still playing?
The defense you're going against, just go half speed. It's fine. Then maybe it was working each
I don't
time.
think we want the answer. Sometimes if you don't want to know the answer, you don't ask the question.
You might actually get the answer by what we see different on Saturday. That might actually give us a lot of answers because a lot of these guys are the same guys. And I think that's be like, they haven't been in the new strength and conditioning program long. So it's hard to see. You're going to see some physical changes, but it's hard for that to really have had a massive impact already at this point. That usually takes a year or so. But are we going to be able to tell? What do these guys look like out there compared to when we saw them last year? Are there any position battles? I think we've spent a lot of time over the weeks talking about quarterback, but are there any other position battles that you are really interested to see what options Florida has and who's kind of separating themselves a little bit?
Cornerback 2 and running back 2. I think Dijon's got cornerback 1. I won't say totally locked up, but I think he's the guy.
Yeah.
Ben Hanks, Javari Flowers, Kamari McLean. I think it's a good battle there at cornerback 2. I think we've heard some good things about each one of those guys.
Equal, I think.
Yep.
But
and then running back 2 behind Jaden Ball. I mean, Duke Clark, I think, has turned some heads. Evan Pryor, for that, both those guys might be that home run threat, but behind Jaden Ball. And London Montgomery's in that mix too, as a transfer coming in as another kind of physical presence in there. So I'm eager to see how they actually use those second backs. How does it look to try and get that speed on the field, get those guys on the outside where they can use that speed. So to me, quarterback 2, running back 2 are position battles I'll be kind of honed in on.
I mean, offensive. Go ahead. Offensive line is obviously one that we're all going to be keeping an eye on. It's not sexy to be like so-and-so is going to win it kind of thing. But for me, I just want to see, one, how it's approached and who they kind of are eyeing. In my opinion, I think the offensive line has a lot more upside than people want to give it credit for. We've talked about this before on the show. It has a ton of snaps. Now, those snaps necessarily don't mean that they're good snaps, but obviously with the kid from Stanford coming in, the young kid that's been talked very highly about. Najee Harris seems to have locked down the guard, so there's 4 other positions that are open. I like TJ Shanahan which I love, the transfer from Texas A&M to Penn State, so he's been in the Troutwine system for quite some time, and even Summerall told him, this guy's cracking the egg inside the pad. So love that he's bringing that physicality. So I kind of want to see, okay, if TJ and Najee are your standard, how do other people start to line up with those guys? Because those are your kind of, in my opinion, that's what your core. Those are your ones. So you got Harrison and Zamidella for your center. And then the tackles, you got Caden Jones, I believe, Boyer, which is another Penn State transfer. And then Amika, I believe is how his name was pronounced. So how do those guys match up? And how's Big Rod kind of panning out? We've talked a lot about him. It's time for him to kind of take that step. He looks great from the videos that I've seen. I feel like he's really...
I think he's a little banged up, so hopefully get some play on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to tell. I think they're going to mix it around so much. And look, one thing I did like from Rob Sell, 5 does equal 1, right? So it's if one link's broken, they could all look like ass.
There's one coach that could count on that staff.
They couldn't count 5-star offensive linemen, though.
Hey-oh.
It was either 9, 10, or 12 on the field. I think we're all looking for the positives, and there is going to be nothing's going to be perfect. It's a new staff. It's spring. There's a long way to go. But what would make you walk away being like, all right, Florida's probably going to win 8 games this year. It's going to look like progress for me, and I'm ready to talk smack all summer long.
Oh,
what if I told you I'm already there? Is that okay? I was like, I think
that's tough when you play yourself.
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be just confirming what we've already heard. It's going to be tough to not be hyped up. I mean, again, we've heard all these things about practice flying around. If I hear some cracking from pads,
yeah,
I think I'm just gonna burst.
They get into it a little bit with each other, like on the sidelines a little. Like I feel like that competitive spirit coming through, that's a good sign.
Not cheesy shit either. Like good old fashioned. Like someone gets whacked and it's like you can see him just kind of jab it a little bit, and it's like let's go again. Kind of similar to that clip we saw. I don't know if you guys saw it with Jarrell McCoy and Coach Chapman was yelling at him like, "Do it again!" and he comes and grabs the other coach, and the coach is like, "Oh shit!" Like it's like, and he's like pissed, and the coach is chirping him. He's like, "What? That's your boy," because he beat him. Like that's what I'm hoping to see, a kind of amplified up a little bit. Look, I think if the offense goes out there and just moves the ball like we haven't seen in 4 years, and just show, like Harris said, he goes, "I'm watching this offense. I had no clue what was going on." Even last year at the spring game, like it was flowing well, but we still knew what was coming. Like it was the same kind of basic stuff. I think we're going to look at this and go, holy, what if
they open with like a 90-yard touchdown?
I'm leaving. I'm driving straight home, and we're going to be live until September. I'm not going to turn. The suit's going to stay on, and we're just going to be filling up the Kool-Aid. Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
That's the beauty of spring ball. If a 90-yard touchdown happens, then people are like, oh, who was the DB? Who got burnt?
That's kind of the beauty of this setup, though, right? Offense versus defense, because in the past we were seeing a lot of ones going against, a 4-string guy that we're not going to see during the season at all. So then you do have these kind of like ESPN moments, but they don't necessarily translate to anything. And so I don't know, good versus good might tell us more.
Yeah, I think with the questions along the offensive line, I want to see Jaden Woods, LJ McCray, Emmanuel Oyabadajo. There we go. Got it. I want to see those guys, go and be a force in the passing. And now I hope the offensive line is not turnstile, but
I want to see some sacks.
Yeah, I think with what we've heard about this offensive line, the kind of rotation at tackle, and you have these guys at edge that you brought back like Jaden Woods, that you went and got the transfer portal, and then LJ McCray with the 5-star, and we've heard some good things dating back to that first scrimmage. I want to see those guys in the backfield some.
Agreed.
I'm excited, guys. We are 48 hours away. This is a crazy weekend for all of us, too. We're meeting up tomorrow.
Yep.
40-yard dash, indoor.
You two are running it.
Yeah. You're not running it? You're not running
it? Are you really not?
Shelton.
Hey, I don't understand. Listen, this isn't about me. Okay, I have to host it. Someone has to host it. Okay, I volunteered. I took one on the chin. Took one on the chin.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got the 40-yard dash and the indoor. That is
stretching tonight. Start stretching.
Yeah, is really exciting. What you're going to be streaming that, right, Shelton?
Yes. Again, I have to host it. A lot of work to do. So yes, we will be streaming it. We will be everything will be live for that private event, and then we're all headed over to Alma Mater for the grand opening, which we'll be burning down, and then we have the Olympics on Saturday. And Dave is unaware. You're on Cody's team, Dave. I just want you to know.
Oh, there we go.
So we have 2 other people, but and I have Mr. Eric Wilbur, which I am beyond. Apparently, I stacked the teams, which it was randomized.
I was like, wait a minute. So I don't get my husband on my team? I did see you have 2 people with the same last name on a different team. So you stacked those husbands.
They're on yours. They're on your team.
Oh, okay. Wait. But I don't get my own husband? This is shady. You have definitely gotten some like.
Oh man. Listen, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
Wait, but you do.
Okay.
You definitely make the rules.
I may have made some of the rules, but I didn't pick the teams.
Yeah, Shelton, you have to read the comment.
Yeah, Josh was one of my teammates. Bronze and silver are going to look good on Dave and Ali. Can't wait to meet and compete against Josh Shelton. We're bringing that gold home, Captain.
Okay, what are the events?
Okay, we explained them yesterday. We can explain it again. So the first game will be, and so to you being a captain, Ali, this is good. So because I told the captains they need to know what their games are in case people come in and don't know. So this is great. If you have questions, Ali, we can get after the fact. First game is going to be Flip Cup. So it's going to be there's 6 teams, teams of 4. So when you drink, you flip, it lands. You have to run to a cone, come back. And when you get back, your next person can go. First team to finish.
What if I pull my hamstring in the 40?
That's your problem, Dave. That's your problem, Dave. You're out. First team to finish gets 6 points and so on. Simple enough?
Yep, that works.
All right, that's round 1. Round 2, this is where it gets a little dicey. Okay, there's going to be a cornhole board and a washer board. All right. Okay. So your team of 4 step up. Then you decide which 2 are going to throw cornhole bags and which 2 are going to throw washers.
Okay.
Okay. This is a timed event. And why that matters is because you want to score as many points as you can because your points minus from the time. Okay. So just like cornhole, 1 on the board, 3 in the hole. If you miss the board on either game, it's a penalty. That way, because I figured Eric and Ali, you guys will be like, oh, we'll just throw it down and just run. That's not gonna. You can't do that because it's a penalty. Listen, I'm thinking and then you have to take a shot before your time stops. Okay, so it'll be a timed event, and then your score will minus from your time. So if you get like 20 points and it's 60 seconds, your 40 seconds, your time, fastest time wins.
What are we shooting? What kind of shots? No, what kind of shots?
Oh, these are really, really good shots. I don't know what they're called, but they're like really good. They're not like Jaeger bombs, like really, really good shots. Bozeman will be making them. They go down like water.
I know what those are, and Bozeman knows exactly the recipe I like, so I know what they are.
Yeah. So a lot of drinking.
They are very tasty.
8:15 in the morning, but yes.
Yeah, that's semantics. And in the last game, which I didn't know I had Eric on my team, but I'm happy that I do. It involves kicking, which is, I mean, it's kicking field goals. No, I have this big 6-foot blow up dartboard, and there's 4 balls each. So each person will. This was a little bit foggy. I think we'll all just have so you'll spin 3 times and have to kick your ball, and it's a dartboard. So you just add up your points on the dartboard. That's the thing I'm going to do. Or I might just do a point per ball. That we can kind of iron that part out, but we get the gist of it. And then how it will go is your top 4 teams will move on to the championship round, or final round, I should say. 3 and 4 will compete for the bronze. 1 and 2 will compete for gold and silver. And what that is just a big relay. So you will then compete in every single game. It's a timed event. You'll flip the cup to start it. You go to cornhole. You throw 4 bags. Again, you're trying to score 4 or 3 points to move on to the next one. So you can't move on to the next to the washers until you score 3 points. Go to the washers, you got to score 2 points. You can't go until you score your 2 points. If you don't score the points, you get a penalty. You get 8 washer throws, 4 cornhole throws. If you don't score the points, you get a 10-second penalty added. And then you go to the end and you kick it and you run back and your next person goes.
Okay.
Pretty simple. A lot of drinking.
Out somewhere so that I can read them, because making me take shots at 8:15 in the morning and remember directions.
There's referees. There's 3 referees to remind us of all this.
Perfect.
So
it's a football game. I'm used to drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning, so let's go.
We'll be good.
I'm ready. Nick Renfro, Ali with the 4.240, going to hurt them boys. All right, a few questions, guys, before we wrap up. I'll start with Swamp Chunk because he had a super chat right here. Did y'all see the Florida Victorious video? What's your answer? Which player is signing the most autographs at the spring game? Jaden Ball.
Yeah. Jaden Ball, VB3, Dallas.
Yeah. Agree, Shelton?
I mean, I want Miles Graham, so that's fine with me. The line will be shorter for me, so that's fine. I was thinking Graham. But yeah, I guess Ball. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So since I was on that side of it, let's go back here.
Ali partied hard back in the day. We went 36 days in a row of going to Grog when Florida won the national championship in 2006. I have survived the back stairs there. I can survive any tailgate games.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. First episode we had, guys, we'll go back to this. From RCL and Mex, are we going to have an outright at starting quarterback?
No.
After Saturday? Or
Next.
Take this until start of the season?
Sounds like a teenager trying to explain Fortnite to his grandparents.
I saw that. I wasn't going to be the one that read it. I was like, I saw that.
Nick Renfro, who do you think starts on the edge opposite of Woods?
KJ.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron James, KJ.
Okay. Cameron James. Okay. Oh, you going KJ4? Oh, wow. Okay.
He'll be there.
He's behind Woods, but yeah. I probably lean.
Cam James is a unit. That man doesn't get enough love. That man is a dude.
A little bit of love this spring, and he
flies around the field, guys. He's like a linebacker converted edge. He is awesome.
Other options there: LJ McCray, Emmanuel.
I think both those guys will be more of a shifter on the inside. But I guess you're right. Kind of very similar to the Cam James. You're right. Yeah. I agree.
So, okay. Who do you think would be the best kick returner? It's been a while since we had a legitimate threat there. So we've seen Ball recently, right?
We've seen Ball back there.
Under the last staff. I don't know if the new staff.
BB3.
Yeah, BB3 as well. Yep.
He was electric.
So do we think?
I think it might. We saw VB3 be a gunner though. We've seen him be a gunner in some of these practices. So I don't know.
Kick returner, not punt returner.
Oh, kick returner.
If you, if he's taking the Urban Meyer approach, it's going to be Jaden Baugh.
I would like Pryor back there. Or the ECU kid. Yeah, one of those guys.
Yeah. Nick Renfro once again. And do you think we will use Hezzy Kent as a fullback at all, knowing the impact Billy Latchko had under the Urban Meyer years? A fullback would open some things up.
I don't
He's
think
fighting
he'll see the field.
Yeah, he's fighting an injury right now.
Stood next to Hezzy Kent at practice, and he and Billy Latchko could not be more of a different shape. They've got
a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do to get on the field. So maybe down the road, but
his highlight already happened. It was the first practice.
How do you think Buster will scheme around the offensive line if it does struggle? Short intermediate routes, get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and let VB3 and that's where I think VB3 and Eric Singleton Jr. could really shine. If this offensive line doesn't give a whole lot of time and you do have to scheme, you do have to scheme around it. You got to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. You'll still pick your times to go deep, but that's probably where those guys I think get
Here's
a
the
lot
thing.
of
It's going to complement the offensive line. The problem is that we were too reliant on it to just basically have to be a complete wall of China last year, and it just didn't have
for 8 seconds.
Yeah,
at a time.
Wasn't like they were bad. I think that's something that the quarterback play didn't help their progression. So if they're able to
do it for way too long,
if they're able to provide some help, well, then the D line's gonna get tired, and then all of a sudden now O line has an edge, and now they can kind of find themselves. So I don't think it's gonna be like a complete just flat tire. Like I think it's being talked personally.
Milk Toast Quokka? Is that how you say it? Anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah. Where do you rate our talent top to bottom compared to the rest of the SEC? Clearly behind Georgia, Texas, Bama. LSU. Texas A&M.
I looked at this talent a few weeks ago, and I'm trying to remember. I want to say we had either the 5th or the 6th best talent ranking wise. And
you
so
talk about
top half of the SEC. Like if you where they like basically like run an equation for your returning guys, where their production, whatever else. Like we're in the top half of the SEC.
Yeah, during production, we ranked 5th overall. We were 1 on defense. Now again, talent kind of plays a factor in that. But I would agree. I don't think Ole Miss is more talented.
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas has a ton of talent. LSU has a ton of talent. Georgia has a ton of talent. Bama doesn't scare me as much, to be quite honest with you. I don't think Bama is as far as.
I think they still got the talent. It's just
talent as well.
But I don't. Yeah, I think Oklahoma might be a little bit up there as well too, personally.
Yep, they're right.
At that point, I don't.
That's what 6, 7, 8 range, and you're probably like splitting hairs at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A couple more guys, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see.
We got a super chat too, yeah.
Oh, did we get a super chat?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite moment live in the swamp?
Jarvis Moss blocking the field goal at the very end of South Carolina, Florida.
I have a great story about that game.
That's the game I told you guys. He let my 6-year-old brother smoke a cigar after the game to celebrate.
So I was working for Comcast on the sidelines when they used to have the CSS channel. It was Comcast Sports South or whatever. So I picked up a freelance gig doing camera work, but this was for the South Carolina broadcast. So they were like, hey, you'll be in Gainesville anyway. Would you like to make some, few $100s? Oh, sure, I'll do it. I was, right out of college at the time. Yeah, I'll do it. So I'm on the South Carolina sideline. That play is coming up. So obviously it's the last play of the game. And they're like, hey, go get the camera right in front of Spurrier's face. Literally. So I am from here to, 3 feet away from Steve Spurrier with the camera almost right in his face. Had the camera because I know they're not going to take it till after for the reaction of it. So I'm just sitting here with the camera on my shoulder. I'm looking back at the sideline like this, just trying to watch the play happen. See it get blocked. Obviously, they come to the camera, and all Spurrier did was, well, it's like he just knew. That was a crazy moment. So that memory right there always just because it was.
That's pretty dope.
it was pandemonium. I am
God.
3 feet away from Spurrier. Florida's on the behind me, just rushing the field as that happens, and it's just the typical Spurrier reaction of a well. So
Football.
it was football, but that's definitely up there, Ali. But I think since I was working, I would guess I won't say fan. Well, I was still a fan, but man, probably what I always go back to. I know it wasn't a great year or anything like that, but Tennessee Greer to Callaway.
Oh, what a time!
Yeah, that was just nuts.
It didn't really change the outcome of anything, but do you guys remember Florida, Georgia, and Caleb Sturgis got hurt and Chaz Henry had to kick the field goal for Florida to win? And this is when
2010.
Do it?
2010.
2010. Yes. Okay. So Eric was very involved in recruiting Chaz, and I was standing there when he committed to Urban. I love Chaz Henry, and I'm so proud of his entire career. And he gets to do this. And why can I not think of his name now? The stupid defensive coordinator that Mullen wouldn't fire.
Grantham.
What? Yeah, Grantham. Okay, so Grantham's the DC of Georgia at the time. And he's running out there going like this to him. I have hated Grantham for every moment of his stinking life since that happened. Chaz hits the field goal. Florida wins. And again, it doesn't end up meaning anything on the season, but it was such a cool moment. And the reason I have never liked Grantham.
I don't have anything as cool as that. So I'll probably just bow this one out. I mean, personally, it's nowhere near as cool, but a lot of my games that I've been to when we beat Vandy by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
I was that's not nothing exciting about, but again, the games that I've been to, we lost to Arkansas. We lost to Mizzou when Muschamp was fired. You guys remember that game? Oh. This is my track record here of in the swamp. Okay. Now I did get to go to Tennessee and UCF the last couple of years, which were great games. But last year, honestly, the spring game was one of my favorites because I was able to go on the Steve got me on the sidelines for the first time ever. And they also were crowning the Florida Gator national champion. I got to be on the field for an historic moment that I've seen before, but on TV and video of, and now I'm sitting here next to it. So that was cool for me as a kid who grew up watching it. Now you're immersed into it. That was pretty cool.
I just realized I'm going to hell. I didn't mention watching my husband or brother win a national title.
Damn.
It's in the swamp, so you don't win
Saturday.
In the swamp. Neither of those things happened in the swamp.
Right.
So.
There you go.
I'm like Eric. She remembers Chaz Henry's field goal kick, brother. So on
Saturday, wasn't in the swamp. We beat Vanderbilt in overtime. Jay Cutler was the quarterback, and
I remember that.
Yeah, we got fighting words on Saturday. I was just fueling the tank for Eric. Just fueling the tank. Keep up. You love it. I love it. Hey, right. Dave, get the camera on Alec on Saturday because it's going to be flowing.
No camera work for me this Saturday. It's there's no streaming. There's no television broadcast. I think a lot of people are going to be counting on us to kind of just share our thoughts during the game Saturday. So if we're all not drop dead drunk from Shelton's Olympics, so we'll see where that goes. We good, guys?
All right. Well,
great show.
I think that's it. We about covered it. It's a crazy 48 hours. I'm sure all of us will be checking in with you guys on our own channels. We did just get a super chat at the end.
Yeah, one more. Yep.
At the buzzard.
Who was the one coach that didn't work out that you wish did?
Same.
Muschamp for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's from Nick Renfro. Yeah.
Hires an offensive coordinator, and Muschamp is still the coach at the University of Florida.
Did you see his thing today? His video today, his T-shirt. NT equals NP.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, it was incredible. He was. Let me make sure. I don't want to mess it up. What it stands for? No thud equals no play. Mainly, if you ain't gonna hit nobody, you ain't gonna play. NT equals NP.
You can watch the game, you can play the game.
Yeah, it's his version of that. Yeah, he's just making shit up and just putting it on T-shirts.
To be a little bit different, and oddly enough for me, I'll say Dan Mullen.
Yeah, I could go that way.
Even great first couple years, 2020, good in a lot of ways. Still didn't end the way we wanted to, and I know we had our press conference recruiting question mishap.
I mean, you are why he's not here, Dave. So,
but he was a guy I wanted in 2018 when we were making a new hire and all that. And like I said, there was a lot of early success. I wish it would have worked out, but it didn't. So
well, that's on you.
I'll never live that one down.
No,
I love it.
never ever. Listen, Summerall loses a couple games and be like, Dave, don't even walk in the door. Okay.
He's got a 5-star offensive lineman. What am I going to ask him about recruiting?
I do think it will be remiss if before we leave, if we do not mention before we go on air next Thursday, 4:30, women's gymnastics semifinals. If they win, they will be part of the 4 on the floor, which is the national championship for gymnastics. Florida has scored 198 points or more in their last 5 meets, which I've been tweeting about this a little. It is literally the equivalent of scoring 50 points 5 games in a row.
Wow.
or keeping another team out of the end zone 5 games in a row. It is incredibly difficult to do. They're the only team in the country that has done it this year. They have a great chance to win a national championship in gymnastics.
When is this?
It's going to be Thursday at 4:30. So a week from today, but it'll be before we go on air. So we'll know the results of the way that it works is 2 waves. So there's a 4:30 meet and an 8:30 meet. There's 8 teams that make it to nationals. So we'll know what Florida's score is when we go live.
Okay, cool.
Good deal. One more reminder. We are planning on doing a show Sunday evening.
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday night, 8:30, we will recap the orange and blue game from Saturday.
It's over at that point.
Ooh.
Everybody hit that like button one more time right here for this episode of the Gators Summit. Guys, you good? We're saying goodbye?
We're good.
Goodbye.
All right, there we go. Ali Peek from A Peek Inside Gators Football. Shelton Walker from Hightop Sports. I'm David Waters with Gators Breakdown. Everybody, we'll check you out Sunday evening.